you are. Welcome to Arizona Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Helen Gibson. You're watching Verde Valley TV, so glad you joined me. If you want to see the whole series of Arizona Business Spotlights, I keep having people, I meet them on the street, and they're asking me about this show or that show. All you have to do is go to verdevalleytv.com and go to our playlist and look for Arizona Business Spotlight, and you can watch past episodes. Because some of you are not listening, because I keep saying, have your pen and paper ready. So don't worry, go to Verde Valley TV, the YouTube channel, and all our guests and our shows are up there for you to review, and there's phone numbers on there. They're all listed so you can find the show that you're looking for. So I hope that helped Carol out there in Verde Valley that emailed me and was asking about one particular show and a phone number. So all the playlist is there, so go check it out. We have an exciting show for you today. Dalen Whitney and Wendy Whitney, husband and wife, different professions, but they're both here today sharing their business expert tips for you, so you don't want to go anywhere. We'll see you in just a moment here on Arizona Business Spotlight.
Orkin has pest control down to a science.
When your business chooses Orkin's Precision Protection Program, you get a tailored pest control program for your specific industry and environment.
Your business can benefit from over a century of experience, training, and scientific knowledge that define the Orkin man.
Maximum protection, minimum exposure, backed by one of the industry's most comprehensive guarantees.
Choose your locally owned and operated Northern Arizona Orkin and get more than an exterminator. Get an expert.
Back on Arizona Business Spotlight, joining me, Dalen Whitney with Sentry Inspecting. Welcome to the show,
Hi,
Dalen. We're going to be talking with Wendy later on in the show, but right now we're focusing on home inspections. Who needs a home inspection?
The easy answer to that is everybody.
Yeah.
There really is, if you are looking to purchase a home, if you're looking to sell a home, basically if you're in those categories, any side of the transaction, you really can benefit from a home inspector. The reason for that is say if you're going to buy a home, well, obviously you want to know that what you're buying has good bones, has functioning systems, and then on the flip side, if you are a seller, you can have a pre-inspection done before you even list, have somebody like myself come in and give you an idea of what a buyer is going to find out when they come to purchase your home.
Right.
And the benefits of that are, if you know ahead of time before you've listed or anything like that, then you can have a handyman come in, do the repairs, save yourself a lot of money if it's smaller things, you know. Otherwise, if you wait till after you're already listed and now you've got an offer on the table, and then you have an inspector come in after that period, then you've got to have a licensed contractor do the work. So it just kind of makes sense to make yourself aware ahead of time. And
I agree. You know, it's kind of like with the mortgage industry to get pre-qualified before you go out.
it's great.
Looking for a home, because as we're going to be talking to Wendy, she's with the Maxwell Group, Bloom Tree Realty. She's going to be talking to us about home sales. But if you're pre-qualified, then you're not disappointed if you go out with your realtor and they say, well, you can't qualify for this home.
Right.
So getting an inspection done ahead of time is going to save you money, again, like you said, because you can get a handyman.
Sure.
Because a lot of times these things are just, you know, cosmetic.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll go into a home, do an inspection, and some of the things are like a cracked outlet cover or a loose faucet, a drippy faucet, things like that, like real simple things that a homeowner comes in and, you know, you could hire a handyman and, you know, pay him $50 to come in, do everything, just fix all the little things and button that stuff up. You know, but then after the fact, now they want a licensed electrician to come in and put an outlet cover on.
Right.
So
and now you're paying a lot more.
$100, yeah,
per hour.
just to get, you know, one guy to come out and do one thing, where you could have a handyman come out, do all of it for you.
Okay, so this is all about relationships, because once I use you to do my home inspections, I'll probably mention it to somebody else.
Sure.
So that's a good referral for you, obviously. So people watching right now, I would say call you for a consultation to find out when you can come out, what you can do, right? And
Yeah. Yeah, the best way, and this is me personally, I know a lot of inspectors, they prefer like things to be done online or you know, go to my website, set up an appointment there. I personally like to talk to people.
There's your phone number right there. 928-301-0336.
Yeah.
Call Dalen and get your home inspected.
Absolutely.
So you brought some tools with you, I know, and one of the misnomers you said, one of the things you wanted to spell about the whole inspection business is that it doesn't take a whole truckload and 20 people marching all through your home to do a home inspection. So,
Sure.
so show us some of your tools. And I know you brought your kit. You're like, this is all you need, Helen. I love this kit.
So
check this out.
when I roll up to a house, I show up with my ladder, which is super small. It's this big, but it goes to 15 feet. And I've got my bag here, and that's got everything in it that I need to do a quality, high-tech inspection.
I'm excited. And we have some of those tools that you use during inspection here on our table right now.
Yeah. So one of the things that makes it's really unique to me, there are other inspectors out there that use this. It's not just me, but I'm one of the guys that actually uses it quite frequently. This is the thermal camera. So basically what this does is gives me... Yeah, so
oh no, I'm just like thinking I saw this on TV.
So basically what this does is it allows me to look at things. Like you can see me right now, and I look like I'm on fire.
Yes.
So I can look at say for a great example is I can look at a water heater, an electric water heater. A normal home inspector would go up to that water heater and they'd say, okay, it's putting out hot water, right?
Right.
Well, what I can do is I look at the hot water heater with my thermal camera, and it will show me those hot spots. If it's an electric one, I can see is the top element and the bottom element working properly. And if not, well, now I've given the homeowner some information, or the buyer or possible seller,
whichever one,
information on that they didn't know about before. And so now the buyer doesn't move into the home in a year, 6 months down the road, they're saying, well, I'm not getting hot water anymore. And then they have somebody come out and say, well, you got a burnt out element.
Right.
Now, so now it's just an extra layer of vision, a layer of information that I can give. This is a gas detector. Most have not seen, but just a couple of other home inspectors that use these. These are, it's just something that is important, I feel, when I'm checking out a home to make sure, like if the range doesn't have any leaks, the water heater, the clothes dryer, things like that, the furnace. Make sure that there's no gas leaks in the house. This is a super sensitive model, so it gives me, a really great readout. I also use, this is a temperature gun. Most guys you'll see use one of these. This basically I use for checking the temperature differentials between the heating and cooling, the registers, and the return air. So, I spent a lot of money on tools. I didn't want to go the cheap route, primarily because I believe you get what you pay for, and it's the same with home inspection.
Right.
So. And
you're from here, so I think that's so important. Well, and your wife is a fourth generation.
Yeah.
Arizona, and you don't find too many of those anymore.
She's fourth generation in Cottonwood.
So people are going to see you in the store or at church or where in the park or wherever. So you're going to go above and beyond.
Absolutely.
And give that personal touch.
Yeah, I like you said, I grew up here in the Valley. I've literally had my hands on a house, top to bottom. From the low-tech stuff to the high-tech stuff. Over the course of my life, I have done just about everything from framing, concrete work, pouring the slabs. I've done full remodel stuff. I've done small remodel stuff. I have done...
you know what to look for then.
Yeah.
Because certain areas, maybe they're settling because if homes are built on caliche or something that but I don't know, I'm just throwing stuff out. But you know what to look for or what could be a problem area that you would be looking for that most people wouldn't look for probably.
Exactly. And that right there is actually one of the key reasons to hire a home inspector in the first place. Anybody can go into a house and say, you know, I just don't think that looks right. Well, but it's the big ticket items. You know, are you going to get up on a roof? Is the buyer going to get up on a roof and say, well, this isn't right? Or are they going to know what to look for? Are they going to be able to take, you know, have one of these guys and know what the splits should be between the register and the return, so that they can say, is the AC system working properly? You know, it's like just knowing what to look for. And not all of those things can be taught just by doing 80 hours of classwork.
No.
You know, you get so much more in life experience, which is what
people are paying for when they hire you. So I would recommend anyone watching right now to call Dalen and get a home inspection going, whether you're going to sell your house or whether you're thinking of just doing slight maintenance on it. You know, have you gone from room to room and it's like the air changes, right? It's hot in one room, it's cold in the other. That's something that maybe you can facilitate and tell them, okay, well,
sure,
through a home inspection.
And I do that when I check each register to make sure, like, so if, you know, are we getting a balanced load on the AC system? You know, is the temperature coming out of this register the same as this register or close? You know, because I mean, obviously you're going to get some heat loss or cooling loss as you get further and further away from the unit. But there are certain ranges where things need to be. Okay.
And so the process of the inspection is there a 10-point checklist that you use that you kind of know where to go, or is every home different? You kind of customize it?
No, and that's one thing. I think probably every inspector does this. Every inspector gets, when they start out, they develop a flow. And one of the most important things you can do as a home inspector is stick to that flow, no matter what. A house is a house. It doesn't matter how small it is, how big it is. They're all the same. They all have rooms and they have systems. And as long as you stick to that flow and you stick to that checklist, which I have a template, I use a reporting software that's very unique to me. And I've actually been helping develop it with the guys that have started it. And so I follow my template. I've built it out so that my template is super easy to read. My reports, I kind of coined the phrase plain English report.
Plain English report.
The plain English report. So it's like because you'll read home inspection reports and they're like just to tell you that the outlet cover's broken. There's a paragraph this long, and nobody wants to read all that information. No. And so I just keep my reports very plain English. You know, this is what's wrong. This is what it can cause, and this is who you need to have fix it. And the reason I did that, and I get probably, I'd say over 80% of my clients say, I read your report page, front to back.
Yeah.
And you will almost never hear that in the inspection industry. Most people, they look at the summary and move on. So,
and this is where we spend our nights, our days, we live our lives, is our home. And we go to the dentist to get our teeth checked, or we go to the doctor for a checkup. Our home needs a checkup. That's why they need to call you.
Yeah.
You're like the house doctor, the home inspector.
Well, I'm the guy. I'm like I guess, kind of like a general practitioner. A general practitioner, most of the times, what do you go? You go there, you say, hey, I got a sore throat, or I've got something wrong with my hand. And they look at your hand, they say, yep, it's not right. Here's a specialist, go to the specialist.
And that's what you do.
So that's what I do. A home inspector is the guy that comes in and they look at the big picture of the home. They look at every system and they'll say, this is, the roof isn't right. You need to call a roofer. And the AC guy isn't, the AC isn't working right. Call an HVAC contractor. And, some people, I've had the analogy, if you've seen the commercial lately where the people are robbing the bank. Yes. And there's the guy standing there, and they're like, "Are you going to do anything?" And he's like, "No, I'm just paid to observe and report." I had a client say that to me one time. He said, "Well, it kind of seems like that's what you do," but that same client, after I did the inspection, I came back to him and I said, well, actually, when I was in the crawl space, I saw that there were some AC ducts that were disconnected. So that was like probably, I'd say, over the life of the home, if they were to live there for 10 years, they're heating the crawl space.
Yeah.
They're heating and cooling the crawl space. It's not going in the house. That's, if they would have never known about that, if they would have had the home inspector come out.
You would save them so much money.
Yeah.
I think that's a good ending point right there, Dalen, is that you'll save people money and you'll help them with what they need to get their home ready for sale or just to live comfortably in.
It's a great peace of mind.
It is. Sentry Inspecting, Dalen Whitney was with us here today on Arizona Business Spotlight. So much information. Be sure to go to the website, verdyvalleytv.com. Go to the YouTube playlist and watch Dalen again because there was so much information there. All right. We'll be back with more Arizona Business Spotlight and his beautiful wife, Wendy Whitney. We're okay here. We're back with Wendy in just a moment here on Arizona Business Spotlight.